Hey, thanks for joining me. Today what I'd like to do is show you how to deal with multiple selections on the web dropdown and how to handle those selections on the server. To give you an idea of what we'll be building, here we have a web dropdown control, and if I drop down you can see that I have checkboxes next to each one, and I can go through and select the ones that I want. And I'll click out of the control, and once I click this button then I have a printout of the items that I've selected. Pretty easy. Let me go ahead and show you how it's done. Here we are in Visual Studio 2008, and what I have in front of you is just a standard ASPX page. So the first thing that I want to do is inside the form tag is add a script manager. Now that we have that, I can come over to the toolbox and drag on the web dropdown control. Now Visual Studio went and added the register tag for me, but what I'd like to do is paste in the markup for that control that I already have prepared for you. So let's go ahead and replace this with this. So you can see that we have a web dropdown control. I've changed the ID to WDD just to make it easier. Enable closing dropdown on select. This sets the behavior so that you can click the checkboxes and the dropdown won't close on you while you're trying to select the items. For the data that we're going against, the text field I want displayed to the user is the title. The value field that will be in the value property of the control is the ID or the unique key of that item. We are enabling the multiple selection with this property right here, and the width and the drop-down container width, I want to be the same so it looks like a rectangle, and so I made them equal at this point. I also have a button on the page that I'm using to initiate the post back to the server, and finally the last thing that I need is just my little text box here. This will render as a text area so that we have a place to put the selection so you can see what's going on. So just your basic text box control. So now that I have the controls on the page, what I need to do is create the event handler. Let's put that on a new line, and so we'll open up the properties and take a look at the drop-down list. So let's go over and handle the event of selection changed. Now, with selection changed, what will happen is on our event args over here, the drop-down selected changed event args, it's going to have a property called new selection. Now this new selection property is typed as an object because it can either be a single item if you don't have multiple selection enabled, or it could be multiple items or an array. So the first thing that I'd like to do is check to see if we're looking at an array. Before I do that, I need to bring in a few using statements so that I have everything that I need. So I'm going to copy these in here. I have a little more than we need. So we need the Infragistics web.ui list controls so that we have access to the drop-down item class, and we'll use that right now. So if the new selection is a drop-down item array, then what we want to do is take a look at each one of those items. So we'll declare a variable and we'll call this items and set it equal to new selection as drop-down item array. Once we have that available to us, we can do really whatever you want. I'll just create a for each loop and we'll build up something to print out in that text box. So we'll declare a new string builder here. And we'll use the string builder in our loop, so then we can say for each drop-down item in items. We can say string builder append line item text. And then once we have all that, we can say go to our text box and set its text equal to the results of the string builder to string. Okay, so we have that. Now the only other thing that we need to do is provide data to the drop-down list. So in the standard data binding format that you do, you could go against data source controls, whatever. I'm just going to do it in code on page load here. If it's not post back, then the data source is equal to book repository get books. This will get 10 books for me. And we can run data bind. So let's run it and see what we've got. So here's our drop-down control on the page. We've enabled multiple selection. We've told the behavior not to close the drop-down list upon select. And so now we can select as many as we like, click out of the control, initiate a post back, and now our event handler fired in order to print out the items that we selected. Well, thanks a lot for checking out this video. And if you have any questions about what you've seen, please feel free to send me an email at cshoemaker@infragistics.com. If you want to take a look at the documentation for any one of our products, you can go to infragistics.com/docs. And if you'd like to contact our support, you can go to infragistics.com/support. Thanks again for checking us out, and make sure you check out the website where you'll find a lot more videos that'll help you get started with the NetAdvantage toolset.
Infragistics. On the web at infragistics.com.